Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming to September 7th Dash Community Call. And so today I was hoping, unless someone has an item they want to cover, I was hoping we could look at PRs today in the queue, unless anyone speak now, if you have something you'd like to cover specifically on the team. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and go ahead and pull these up here. So hope everyone can see. I'll go to the PRs here. And I was hoping we could just start maybe down here. I need to pull up Teams and see if Jay is on the phone here. Jay, are you here?
Jay is on vacation, so he won't be able to.
Okay, thanks. Great. So then how about, should we start here at the bottom, Marsha? Or does anyone have something they want to pick out of the queue here?
I don't have anything for today. There is still work in progress.
This one's work in progress. Okay, all right. And
I have three to talk about. Let's talk about this one first, 201, because I'd left some comments from Marian.
Okay.
Maybe if he wants to respond.
Turn off.
Marian, did you see my comments about syncing to main?
No, not yet.
Okay. The PR looks good, and I cloned your branch and ran it, so it's really nice how you got all the auto generation working and everything. But I think before we merge this to main, we need to sync it because it's 23 commits behind, and all the test cases and other things are going to be impacted by these changes. And I think if we don't sync it and make sure it runs in the CI pipeline, we might get a surprise when we merge it. So that's my only concern. Otherwise, I think the PR is good, and the changes you made, especially with the tooling, is great.
Yeah, okay. I'll do it probably like today.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I should clear the deck on some of these.
I'll sync to main later today. Got it. Awesome. Thanks, Marian.
And then that one there, a couple people have run it and tried it, and I really appreciate the feedback. So that's ready to go, but I want to wait until 201 is done so we do this kind of in order and we don't have, any other kinds of surprises. I think it's kind of orthogonal to 201, but still doing things in order is usually a little bit better. So pending Marian, if you do get that reconciled and it runs in CI, I would propose we merge 201, and then I'll bring my other pending ones up to snuff, sync everything, and then request those get merged. So 202 is the whole Docker and make file permission and user identity fixes. 203 has also been looked at by a couple people, and I did respond and fix a couple of things in there. And I think that's ready to go. It's really documentation plus one makefile that's a reference makefile. It's not executed. And that's the document dash as a submodule. So a couple people have kindly looked at that, and I think that's ready to go. I did have to fix a couple of typos in the Pensando HA proposal in order to get the CI to pass and update the word list, etc. So in 203, if we merge that, it's also going to change the HA proposal with a couple of typos. It'll fix those. It wasn't really my intention to do that, but I didn't want that CI to have any kind of red X on it, so I went ahead and did that.
That happened to mine too when I was trying to fix the word list.
Yeah.
And I need to run through that. Okay. Do you want me to squash and merge this one now?
I would like that. Thank you. Go ahead and squish it.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Problem.
And I'll pray to the CI gods that it passes with a green check mark.
Okay. Hopefully,
And then, and it's possible if you merge main back into your PR210, that
mhm.
you might end up inheriting the fixes.
Okay,
See how that goes. And I can help you off. We can work one-on-one on that if there's any kind of,
okay.
sometimes it gets tricky merging back.
Yeah.
And then,
'Cause I fixed a lot. I fixed a lot in that one. So, okay.
cool.
Well,
And
thanks.
then, yeah, 211 fix IPv6 packet noise. What that is about is due to some side effects of launching Ixia C container, it would re-enable IPv6 after I disabled it in the Linux networking to do software packet testing. And then you'd get Linux IPv6 control plane junk would start hitting the BE ports, like, ICMP6, multicast listener discovery, all kinds of stuff would turn back on and would cause, sometimes based on the timing, it would cause a PTF test to fail that ran afterwards. And people had commented on that. There'd been occasional sporadic reports, but finally, Hanif had it happen to him as well. And I finally decided to spend the day and just dig into what happened.
Mhm.
And so I put a bunch of remedies for that, so it shouldn't happen anymore. After I launched Ixia C, which we're not even actually using for the test at this point, I redisable IPv6 to make sure it doesn't happen again. Also, I've been in contact with the Ixia C development team, and they're going to actually add a new feature to Ixia C so that when you launch it, you can tell it with an environment variable to not enable IPv6. So this was a worthwhile pursuit, and we finally got to the root cause, have a fix, and then we'll have an actual improvement in the generator itself. So
Awesome.
yeah, sometimes when you take the time, you can get to the root cause. It's great because you come up with a really good fix that you can sleep with.
Did you still need Hanif and Mukesh to do a review then?
I would welcome one if someone wanted to take the time. I'm not in a rush for this. If someone wants, does anyone want to wait till next week to try this, or should we just go for it? I feel pretty comfortable about it. Are there any,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
oh, I'm saying I'm okay with it.
Uh-huh.
Chris, I have just one question.
Yeah.
Volodymyr speaking. Yeah, so what problem does this pull request resolve? There's noisy packets?
Okay, the problem, I'm not sure if you heard my earlier explanation, but if you were just to, let's say, start with a make clean and then run all the steps that are documented in the README, there's a good chance that the first time you run run all tests, the PTF test is going to fail in the VNet test. And the reason is it's going to send a single VXLAN packet, and it's going to get a packet back that's the wrong packet. And the reason is it might be an IPv6 control packet from Linux that just happens to come in at a bad time. And the verify packet assertion in the PTF test will fail because it sees ICMP6 or something, not the packet
Okay.
itself.
Okay, so I understand. So it looks like this is not actually the... So we're trying to fix the IPv6 packets, but probably some other noises can happen in the future anyway, right? But why we do not write that as cases in the manner that
No.
will filter out the packets that, we just expect, okay?
We
that's it.
could, but you might actually conceal a real problem someday if you just start filtering things, right? That's like, oh, I'll delete everything I don't want to see and look for the thing I expect. That's a recipe for hidden bugs, right? So we really need to be scrupulous and try to make sure things work exactly as we expect, and we get exactly the packet we want and nothing else. And try to make sure that if we have a contaminated test environment, which I would consider this contamination, we try to clean the contamination. Now, there may be cases where we're forced to filter because of things beyond our control, but I don't want to start covering up, problems like that. Does anyone have any comments to that? maybe I'm taking the wrong position, but I don't think we should leave stones unturned when it comes to these kinds of things, because it becomes technical debt and landmines that we'll step on later.
Yeah. So I agree that
I agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree that we
Sounds
can
good.
disable, but anyway, we once we're reading the test cases, we should verify that if you send the packet and you expect that it will not be received by another site, please verify that just this packet and that's it. So in this case, you can filter out all rest of the packets. We cannot just rely on the IPv6, probably some other packets maybe, because it's Linux environment, right? So we can get a lot of packets, like noisy packets.
Yeah, and maybe someone who knows more about, for example, name spacing and other tricks to, avoid contamination. Please, pitch in with ideas. Maybe there's a more methodical way to solve this in general, so we can isolate things.
May I ask, what is the erroneous or unexpected VXLAN packet that we are getting?
No, it's not unexpected VXLAN packet. It's Linux IPv6 discovery packets coming from Linux control plane.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, hey, look, I see a VETH port. I'm going to start sending queries out and looking for things, right? It's this normal Linux behavior, and the typical remedy, what I've seen in, these kinds of, let's say, tutorial projects, et cetera, is disable IPv6. Now, we may be doing IPv6 tests at some point where we want IPv6 behavior. So we'll have to cross that bridge.
Right. So since we are getting that packet, how is it, causing the test to fail?
It's causing it to fail because at the time that packet comes, which is random, right then at that moment, PTF test case was running that sent a VXLAN packet into the data plane and expected the VXLAN packet to come back modified. And it didn't get that VXLAN packet. It got a Linux control plane packet. Just, I call that noise.
Yeah.
And so it was failing, and it was random and unpredictable. And it never happened in the CI pipeline, but it happened in user development environments. Let's say after the first run of run all tests, because that's when Ixia C got enabled and started allowing Linux to leak packets. So just kind of a test environment, hygiene issue, and it may not be gone forever. There will probably be future instances like this, and we just need to be vigilant and creative in how we solve it.
So, so then we just wait until the VXLAN packet comes back, and it does come back at some point, right? The expected VXLAN packet?
Well, it would come back, but the test was written to look for one packet.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The first packet it got was junk. So the remedy in this case was just fire up Ixia C and disable IPv6 again, because it was enabling it by virtue of its default behavior. And like I said, the development team will release a new version which will allow you to disable IPv6 at startup.
Oh, I see. Yeah, as you said, in the future we might need IPv6, etc. So it might be good to wait for multiple packets until the packet we want to see is also received. Maybe that's something we can discuss offline.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to probably do things like that, but I didn't want to use that as a band-aid right now, because like I said, you end up hiding real problems if you start doing things sort of, well, I'm just going to clean things up now.
Because you're getting the packet you're expecting, but it's just coming after this packet, or there's some other packet which is still valid. It is nothing wrong to send an ND discovery message, right? From IPv6, it's just, something.
Yeah,
we can discuss offline.
Yeah, we'll probably need to, brainstorm a bit as a group and figure out what's the right way to handle this in a Linux environment, right? What's the preferred way? Because, like I said, we may end up covering up a real problem and leaving, technical debt around. So it's probably making a tempest in a teapot right now about this, but now's the time to kind of discuss things where we don't want to build in technical debt.
Right.
We can come up with a better
Sounds
solution.
Yeah,
later.
Chris. Yeah, so it's an interesting issue, to be honest, because I tried to cases a few times and send the VXLAN and expect some modified packet with very noisy environment. I understand. Probably I can add some reference maybe later. I think
Sure.
how we handled, so maybe it can help.
Yeah, and maybe we decide, as a group, all right, we're going to run things through a filter because we know this is going to happen, and but we want to make sure we're not covering up real problems, right? And just get nervous about patches and band-aids because they catch up to you later in the worst time.
Yeah.
I didn't know this issue would be so fascinating for people, but I guess everyone's running into it themselves too.
Yep. Okay. I was just trying to add, could you, when you have time, add Volodymyr as a reviewer, Chris? I'm having a tough time doing it. Okay.
Yeah. But I appreciate people reporting every kind of problem because now's the time to get them,
Yeah.
before things get really busy.
There we go. Maybe I got it. Let me try. There we go. I got it. Okay.
Yep. Thank you,
Okay.
Christina.
That's that was my hit.
Yeah. GitHub is so picky. And Marian, did you want to talk about this one, Marian, or is this for another time?
Oh, that's probably for another time. I don't know. Maybe we can review it tomorrow on the behavioral model.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Sounds
Just
good.
a small fix to give more examples, stuff like that.
Okay. Sounds good. Good. So, this is what I had for today, unless we had some Q&A to happen or something you guys need from me.
Just want to update that we tried Chris's 202 PR, the CI. Volodymyr Mitnick, would you like to say anything about that?
Oh, we already discussed about this. Chris probably told that I reviewed. So
right. Yeah, he also tried it, and yeah, it seems to be working fine. And the review comments are also there. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? There's one item that's not showing up in this list yet because I haven't filed a PR, and that's migrating everything to Azure Container Registry. I'm having to work on a branch to do that because you need the permissions of the repo to be able to push to the Docker Hub. But I will be, once some of these other PRs merge, I'll reconcile everything with main, and then we'll be discussing the switch over to to Azure Container Registry. You have to look at the right branch to even see that work. So I've been filing PRs to that branch, which you mentioned, Christina, the PRs were closed. What they are is just incremental PRs to that branch in order to make progress, but not a public PR yet. It's just like work in progress that I have to do it that way in order to have the authentication credentials to do the publishing of the Dockers. But let's say in the next couple of weeks, I would expect this whole migration to be complete, and that'll be nice.
Do you need me to do anything with the authentication credentials?
No, everything's fine. Yeah, it all went very smooth once I just decided to figure out how to do it. It was really easy.
Okay, great. That'll be good.
And then, like I mentioned last week, I'll document the workflow. It's kind of a maintainer workflow. It's not, day-to-day developer thing. A few people need to be able to learn how to do that. So we have a team approach so that I'm not the only one who knows how to do it. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Sounds good. I wonder if at some point we'll have a split into a full-on testing work group. Right now I have it kind of wrapped into the overall dash, and then testing is in this call as well. I didn't want to have too many calls, but maybe some point in the future we have a testing only where we dig into the guts of it.
Yeah, well, things are going to heat up pretty soon. We're starting to get enough critical mass here where test cases are going to eventually start rolling in, and maybe that'll be the right call. decide as a group here how we want to do that. Maybe we alternate every other week or something.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea too. Okay. Yeah, I hate to take up more of everyone's time than is available. So
I don't know that I could find another time slot that works for
No.
people around the world.
right, honestly, me neither. So yeah. Okay, good. Did anyone else have a topic they wanted to bring up? So just the last thing then, you know, if I'm ever to go out of office or get hit by a bus, Reshma has kindly offered to host the meeting for me. So thank you, Reshma.
Oh.
Yep.
Nice. Another volunteer.
Yeah, so nice. Yeah. And if
Only when
anyone
you have
else,
to take vacations.
or if anyone else wants to as well, you know, feel free. Just let me know. Share it out. But that's all I have for today. And let me see if there's any new people on the call. I don't see anyone new, so I will give you time back. Except for maybe Chris or Marsha, can you stay on the line and help me figure out this word list that I edited?
I'll be happy to stay on.
Yes.
Okay, great. Then I'll see the rest of you guys later, and I'll post the notes and everything in a timely fashion this week.
Thanks, Christina.
Thank you very much.
Stay on.
Thank you.